Are you following me? Are you following me? Great. Let's go for a ride. Holy shit. Let's see. So, behind me is Interstate 4. This is going over St. John's or Lake Monroe. We're going to talk about the dead zone of I-4. I am a native from Florida in this area. I live up the road just a bit. The first thing I find out that the dead zone is in Sanford. It's not in Sanford, actually. Sanford's over there. This is actually the border for Volusia and Seminole County. It's not Sanford or Sanford proper. It's more like Monroe Township. That's it. That's the bridge everybody talks about. I'll tell you right now, I've gone up and down that bridge many, many times. It's very aggravating, especially on the way home back into Volusia County. Because right there, for no apparent reason, usually about between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody stops. Not because of that. Not one of my favorite things. The sun. Because I bet there's only 12 people on that. Anyway. But the bottleneck's there. Now, a lot of people will tell you it's because of the entrance from 1792 north. People are merging onto I-4. We got a combination of drivers in Florida. Old, young, from here, not from here, tourists, and people who still think they're tourists. But we're going to talk about the dead zone. Let me get a little closer to it. That's where we're going. The dead zone. So, Interstate 4, which also known as Florida State Road 400, really not an interstate. It's basically just an intrastate. Never leaves the state of Florida. The blacktop is from Daytona Beach across diagonally the state of Florida to Tampa. It's 132 miles. And it is considered in the United States as one of the most deadliest highways. And there's a good reason for this. We got all kinds of different people, but I'm going to concentrate on the I-4 dead zone, which is right at the Volusia County, Seminole County line, on the Seminole County side, eastbound of I-4. In the 19th century, a man by the name of Henry Sanford, the namesake of the city south of there, had a dream of populating the area and making it quite a commerce center. He sold some land to some German immigrants who formed a Catholic community, St. Joseph's. And it was right against the river. Now, you have to remember this river does not flow rapid or anything else like you can imagine. It travels maybe 1 mile an hour, very much adrift. It's ideal for mosquitoes. And lo and behold, like in 1887, a yellow fever epidemic struck. It killed 4 members of the colony, a family of 4. The other colonists buried their dead within the wooded area away from the center that they were in. And then they left. They left the entire area. There was no one to administer last rites to these individuals, as their priests, I want to say Father Felix, had passed away in Tampa, also from yellow fever. Well, fast forward, a man named Albert Hawkins, he buys the property and he goes to start farming. He finds the 4 markers. He's a very good Christian man. He puts up a fence around it, tells his family there's some graves out there and we're going to respect them. Now, this is all from Charlie Carlson. He was a local man, historian, writer. He did Weird Florida. Great stories in there. He passed away about 10 years ago. Well, he can remember his grandfather telling them they're going to respect that area and to be decent. And he's telling us to his kids and his grandchildren. Later on, Mr. Hawkins rents out part of his farm to another man who wants to do some farming. He does not respect the area. In fact, he moves the fence or in some way alters it so he can get more plowing done. The following day, his farm burns to the ground. Okay, might be just a coincidence, but who knows? So, in 1950s, I believe 1952, 53, 54, 1952, an 8-year-old boy, Hardy Jack Hodge, was playing near the graves and disrespected the markers. The next day, on his way home, about 50 yards from this location, he was hit and killed by an unknown vehicle. They never made an arrest. They never identified anybody as responsible. Mr. Hawkins, in the 50s, when the Federal Highway Act goes in with Eisenhower's plan to build interstates, the state of Florida buys the land. He warns them of the graves. I don't know what happened with the conversation, if they said, yeah, we'll take care of it or whatever. But they basically did the poltergeist move on it. Maybe move the markers and just put the fill right on top of the gravesite. And that is believed to be I-4 eastbound going up over the river, over Lake Monroe. Okay, when they started building this thing, in 1960, September 10th, a hurricane known as Donna turns direction and comes right down that way, wipes out most of the work. They're delayed by months. A couple of things you should remember. I-4 was built not very well. They didn't have any shoulders initially when they built it. So vehicles were stuck there forever. And, which complicated things. There would be other accidents because you couldn't move the car any place. You can imagine the place at night. There wasn't much lighting. There's not much lighting there now. Well, if you're still following me, I hope we're having some fun. Pretty loud out there, so most of this movie or show or video is going to be voiceover. A lot of traffic, which is okay. I don't mind, but I like people to get the message because I kind of teach history, or not teach history, but talk about it. So we're moving on. Gonna head into Sanford now, Sanford proper. This is where Jack ended up at. Evergreen Cemetery in Sanford. I never did figure out who killed him. Keep in mind, it only happened about 50 yards, supposedly, from the field of the dead. Let's try to make it back home. Maybe I can show you what I mean about the problem with I-4 I have. So now we're coming up on what is considered I-4 eastbound, State Road 400, the dead zone. This is where 1792 exits, and ours also a 1792 entrance. Lots and lots of people. It's 1:40, excuse me, 13:40 in the afternoon. 1:40, that is. Here's the exit for 1792, north and south. And now we're reaching the embankment, which is going right over the field of the dead. And usually about this time, we can see a backup in this area. Not really rush hour. Coming up on the right side would be the entrance from US 1792. Pretty good. And now we've cleared the dead zone, technically. Over the bridge, a lot of people stop to slow down, mostly to look at Pinky the Sea monster or alligators, or they have a sudden fear of going over bridges. But that's it. I mean, nothing else, no one hopping out. I mean, this is I-4 eastbound. So, a couple things about I-4. It was open in segments. The segment around the dead zone was open in, I think, 1963. It immediately had a fatality on it when a shrimp truck or something like that jackknifed. That was interesting. When they were trying to upgrade it in 2004 and make repairs and alterations to the interstate, in 2004 Charlie hit, another hurricane, and it delayed construction again. FHP, the Florida Highway Patrol, Department of Transportation in Florida, they conducted a study for 1999 through 2006. There was over 440 crashes in this little quarter of a mile, some of them with fatalities. And the Weather Channel, in their little show, they talked about supernatural things. Like I said, I've been riding that road for 50 years. I have seen wildlife on it, like a deer or something like that. People say they see ghosts running out there chasing their child or something like that. They probably saw, fog infused bears. There are bears in the area. and they may look like a child, especially if there may be alcohol involved. You know what I mean? Someone said that a tractor trailer stopped for them in the middle of a hot summer day. This could only cause a severe backup or slowdown. It's not that I don't doubt it, because there are some people that will stop and help you. But for the tractor trailer to suddenly disappear when you just turn around, yeah, I digress. I'm a little skeptical about that. But this is an area where there is fog, especially from like the river, changing temperatures. Thunderstorms also prevalent. And it always seems to be that most of the weird stuff happens at night. So I don't know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. It's a little complicated, but I've been working on it for a couple of days. If you do like it, please subscribe, give me a like, or make a comment. And I know this is very rough. We haven't even made I don't even think we've made it to 9 months yet on this channel. So thanks again for your comments. Thanks for viewing. See you.